So I said I was going to do something like wings, and I meant it. Kind of digging on that. So I'm still playing with the silhouette, refining it. Let's maybe echo that here. You know, it's difficult, and I'm doing this right now, it's difficult to try and stay away from the top of the creature, right? We're so used to looking at our models from the top down or from the side, like, you know, we see it in the scale of ZBrush. We don't really see it in the scale of perspective. So I'm going to do this for a second just for overall silhouette. Let me see what's going on the bottom. It's kind of cool what we have going on here. And then I'm going to work on the bottom more. So let's look from here. Reading from the bottom. Let's go back here. Turn that perspective back on too. Cool. I think if this guy moves, he'll end up killing himself for you. No, I'm just kidding. For the player. He's got so many sharp points coming out of him. But I like it. All right. Cool. Maybe this can connect a little bit better here. Beauty of Dynamesh. All right. Anything else from the bottom? I think I want to complete this out a little bit better. Let's bring that in. Let's look at it from perspective of the player. Definitely stuff to look at all the way around right now. feet are a little boring, but we'll get to there. All right, let's get to the feet, and you know what? I'm going to give him shoes. Since we're going to go with sort of the mollusk feet, we'll try this out. Let's just see how this works. I think I may need another shell shape for this. That's what I'm thinking, Marcos. You run into one of these spikes, you get poisoned for 30 seconds. There was a boss I was fighting in Final Fantasy 11 online that had a poison attack like that. And dude, I used to hate that thing. Actually, there's a few that had poison attacks, but I used to hate the poison attacks, man. It would drive me up the wall. All right, I think that's doable. I think I can come up with something cool here. Tie these together a little bit better. Hate it when that happens. Let's do an inflate to heal it up. Just step back. I think a little back face masking will solve that issue. So the idea is just to keep pushing it, and the thing is it doesn't necessarily mean you have to keep adding to it. You know, there might be things, let's forget that. How thin is it right there? Oh, it's pretty thin. You know what, I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's do this. Let's just smooth. I'm not going to noodle with that right now. All right, let's go to back here. Hit all the feet. The holes appear because the geometry gets too thin. All right, so Simon's asking, why do the holes appear in the mesh? And I'll show it to you in a second. I'll show why it happens. Now, that's not the only reason why it happens. There's times where ZBrush just glitches out on a remesh, and let's hold down Alt. Get a little bit in there. ZBrush just bugs out. You know, that's not always the case, but sometimes just because the geometry is too thin. Let's bring it down like that. Let's bring it up. Kind of from the top. You know, and the thing is, like, I'm like, well, maybe I need another shell shape. But I think I made a simple enough shape that it's working out in multiple spots. But let me show you the issue after I make this little adjustment. Let's bring that out like that. So I'm holding down Alt on the move mode in the center circle and just giving it a little bit of a bend like that. He's spiny. Let's go ahead and remesh. And then let's look at why that issue is happening. So if I were to, say, do a pinch here. Oh, let's do clay buildup. So I'm going to clay buildup here, and as I push in, it's going to thin out on the other side, right? So it's going to create a hole because ZBrush does not have the thickness to remesh. Oh, Jason already answered it. Thanks, Jason. All right. So let's see. One more foot, 2 more feet to go. And then we'll move on. So if you end up doing this, remember, if you end up using like insert mesh brushes that you create yourself, remember that it's going to draw out based off your camera angle. I don't know if I emphasized that well enough when I created this piece. So the camera angle that the document is like your surface that you're going to draw out on, and your camera angle is going to be how it draws out on the surface when you draw it with a brush. So you want to make sure that your camera angle is the way that you want it, the way you want it to draw out. Let's bring it up here. Put a little bend here. Let's bring it back up. Let's look from the top, and I think what's going to make sense is that hopefully I have enough thickness back here to remesh. And just in case, let's do a little inflate. Let's remesh. All right, and then the front of this part of the foot. He has too many damn feet. All right. Mm-hmm. All right, I think that's enough to get the idea, at least to sculpt out the rest of it afterwards. Let's get my mask back. Nudge that back in right there. Now let's look at it again from the player's perspective. That's definitely starting to feel better as I look around. I think those elements sort of solve some of the boring issues I had there. And let me look again and see if there's anywhere else where I need to add that same element. You know what? I think I could push this out a little bit further. Because I don't think it's, I was intending for this to be a little bit more wing-like, and I don't have that just yet. So we've lost that shell-like shape too, so let's brown this out a little bit. Look at it from the bottom. All right. I think I feel good about that. It feels like a, I think we brought this up before. And I'm going to bring it up again because I think this leaked into my subconscious because I definitely have this right now. New branch, sea dragon. Do you remember bringing these up when we were talking about color? This totally leaked into my brain. So now what I'm thinking, now that it just popped in my head, I don't even know if I'm going to go into making this a shell. Maybe this might all be soft body stuff. Something to think about. I'm going to chew on that for a couple days before I make any decision. I'm just going to move forward with what I have so far. But it's something to consider. All right, spikes at neck height for the win. Thanks, Christian. Yeah, dude, I can't tell you enough. When I go snorkeling fairly often, and whenever I see nudibranchs, I've never seen one of these in person, but I've seen, let's see. I've seen these guys, and these guys are pretty phenomenal. I've seen these, probably the most common one that I've seen. And they're so badass. So much inspiration looking at these. Gotta love slugs. All right. So I said I was going to re-examine the head and maybe do like a little head on the inside. Yeah, mollusks are from, you know, the primordial times. They're really alien creatures. Soften that selection. And I'm going to open this up a little bit. Let's see what happens when I bring it out like that. Kind of cool. I think I'm going to keep the same thing here, except if this becomes a shell, I'm going to poke holes there so slug eyes can poke through. All right, and now for this extra soft body stuff, I'm going to duplicate my piece